Hello.
Hi.
And welcome back to another episode of Break Room Banter.
It is a hairstylist adjacent podcast where each week
Two friends
who also happen to be hairstylists.
break down our weeks in the break room. I'm your host, Hunter Walden.
And I am your hostess, Ericka the Red.
And today, go ahead, introduce our guest.
And today in the break room with us is Miss Nadyne Hicks.
Woo!
Woo!
Nadyne, I had the pleasure of meeting her in a class. So just a random connection. And ever since that day, you've literally not left my mind. There will be times in the day where I'm really stressed out. And I think you've probably seen it and not known what I was doing. But whenever I walk around the corner and I do my... That's all Nadyne.
I love it.
That's all Nadyne. So Nadyne is an author. She's a celebrity makeup artist. One of my favorite facts that you sent me in that little text message was that your first paycheck was from Michael Jackson's Black or White music video.
Isn't that crazy?
That is insane.
Yeah.
This is a super young millennial question, but was he as big as he was at the time of you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
It was huge. It was the Black or White video.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin was in it. And it was a 3-week video, which was unheard of. But I only worked one day. And videos were usually shot in one day back then. Yeah. And it was all random. Like, how I got the job the whole thing was random, but it was fantastic. Like, watching him, and it was very jovial and light and energetic. It was just fun.
That's awesome.
I still have the lanyard.
I would have kept it too. Yeah, absolutely. It would be in like a shadow box, I think. So you got your license late 80s-ish, and then immediately dived into like the celebrity entertainment industry, right?
So what I did was, when I was in cosmetology school, I knew I didn't want to do hair, because everyone was like, I want to be in a shop, I want to own a shop, things like that. And I was like, nah, I want to do makeup. So I decided then that I would do more like the facials and the things while in school. And then when I came out, got my license, I said, I'm going to give myself 3 years to get into the industry. So for whatever reason, I just gave myself 3 years. And within 3 years, I had met enough people and had enough interaction with others so that I could actually leave the shop and kind of trust more in the process of making money through makeup. I was working for like TNT, and they would do like interviews. And so things like that. And then eventually I got into television. That's where I met Camille.
Okay.
Camille Friend, yeah. But, it was a journey to get into it, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I didn't take my eye off of that part of it. I was like, okay, just give yourself some time to succeed and then to get into that field. And once I got into the field, I just was like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, and we'll talk about the book later in the episode. You guys, this book is phenomenal. Stick around. But do you feel like maybe you knew or you wanted to be in that industry so badly because it was almost like a rebellious, like, well, they told me that this is an evil industry? Or did you just fall in love with it?
I never looked at it like that. When I was a young child, I remember looking at John Travolta on TV and Mork and Mindy, and I remember coming to LA when I was like 12, and I had a friend that said, hey, let's call up the studios, and you could call and the actors would actually get on the phone. So I spoke to Robin Williams, I spoke to someone from What's Happening, and so I think that put a spark in me that I wanted to do something behind the scenes. So I did not know what it was behind the scenes that I wanted to do, but I was like, this might be kind of a cool industry to work in. And it just kind of took off after that. Once we moved to Los Angeles, and, you could see that it's possible when you live in that city, and kind of sort of opened up not even in high school, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is what I want to do. It wasn't until I got into college and I was like, but I've always had a love for messing with hair and beauty and things like that. So why don't I just go back and get my, my license?
Yeah. Why not?
So you went to college before
Mhm.
you went to beauty college.
Yes,
Okay.
I went to college, and I went to Santa Monica College, and then I went to San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
And after like a semester at San Diego State, I quit and was like, I wanted to go to cosmetology school in high school
Mm-hmm.
because there was a girl in 11th grade that was in cosmetology school as we were in high school. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that is brilliant.
Yeah.
So I came home and I said, okay, Mom, this is the deal. I'm going to cosmetology school at night. And she's like, absolutely not. You're going to college. So I said, but this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I used to braid on the stoop in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
All the neighborhood kids, they
Mhm.
would come to me and I would cornrow and braid and doing all these styles. So I was like, okay, I'll go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got into college and got accepted into San Diego State, and I was like, what am I doing here? My mom's like, well, why don't you go to cosmetology school? I told you that in high school.
Right?
We could have saved so much money.
I've been saying this the whole time.
And it just worked. Once I went to cosmetology, then I knew I wanted to do makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Came out, I went to a makeup school, and it was like a 4 or 5 month program. We did everything. We learned prosthetics, we made teeth, we made eyeballs, beauty. We did the whole gamut. And that is when I graduated from there. And the next week, I got the Michael Jackson gig.
Wow.
You said, I'm a professional.
Right?
And I was scared, and you're on set and you're like,
Yeah.
oh. But I just followed the lead of everybody that was there. And yeah,
Obviously, it worked out well.
it worked
Yeah.
out. I
And
have to
so
say.
from that point on, did you ever go into a salon, or were you strictly working on set, behind the scenes, movies, TV?
Yep. My first 3 years was in a salon,
Okay.
different salons in Los Angeles.
You did give yourself the 3 years?
I did. I gave
Mhm.
myself 3 years, and I worked in a salon. And then I had clients, a couple of clients that really liked me. So I said, if we can work out something, I'm definitely going to be in this industry. So I had 2 clients that actually stayed with me for almost 27 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They became part of like my
Your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would always do them every 2 weeks or whenever I could, if
Mhm.
I was, depending on what my work week was like. But yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, at what point do you transition out of doing hair and into like yoga and
Okay. So
talk to us about that?
okay. So in 2005, I had a very serious bout of depression.
Mhm.
I was on a show called Scrubs. I was a department heading the makeup position there, and I went to visit my mom during Christmas, and I couldn't get out of bed. And she said, "What's up?" I said, "I don't know." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Are you depressed?" She was a therapist,
Mhm.
and we got I found a therapist. And once I got back to LA, I knew I wanted to write, so I applied to UCLA.
Mhm.
Well, before I went to my mom, I applied to UCLA, and when they accepted me, I quit Scrubs.
Mhm.
So I went to school for 2 years. I knew I wanted to write the book, but at UCLA, I was taught about Emerson. And one of the teachers, Professor Colacosio, I'll never forget him, he talked about teaching us about your thoughts create your reality.
Mhm.
I had never heard that concept
Mhm.
before in my life. And I'm like, wait a minute, your thoughts create your reality. And I remember there was one class where it felt like my whole life zoomed backwards, and I could see every single thought and every single decision
And
that
how
was
they
being,
led to each other.
and how it affected me. And so I remember going to him one day after class, and I said, "Hey, can I set up an appointment with you?" And he said, "Yeah." So I went to his office hours, and I just specifically asked, "Hey, my thoughts are kind of making me depressed. If I change my thoughts, can I be happy?"
Mhm.
And he said, "Absolutely." And I think that began my yoga, my journey, because it was all about changing my mind.
Mhm.
You know, so I opened up so big to that, that in 2008, I graduated from UCLA. I was going on 43 because I went late,
Mhm.
back late. And I remember sitting at the mall, and this man walks up to me and just says, "You're ready for the secret." I said, "The secret?" I had a friend that called me up like 2 or 3 weeks before that experience and said, "Hey, you need to look at the secret." And I'm like, "What is this secret?" So when he came up to me, he literally walked up, said,
Yeah.
"You're ready for the secret," and walked away. I was in the food court. So I called my girlfriend up and said, "What is this secret?" So that's how that journey began, which eventually led me to yoga,
Mhm.
um, which eventually led me to breath and Joe
Mhm.
Dispenza and the science behind the breath and all of
Mhm.
that. So, yeah, it's been a very interesting journey.
When
So,
you say The Secret, are you talking about the book, The
yeah,
Secret?
the
Yeah, yeah,
actual,
yeah.
it was a movie. It was
Yeah,
like a
the movie
video.
video. Yeah, it was like a YouTube
It was
video.
it was going around, but it
Yeah.
was an actual DVD
I remember
back
that.
then.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I remember buying the DVD, and I watched that. I watched it probably 60 times
Mm-hmm.
because there was something there that resonated. I kept saying, "Oh, this is what they haven't told me. Oh, this is," and I would go to sleep to that video. It was very interesting.
Wow.
Right out of UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so right after that, you're graduated, or the secret happens and you are going down the path of yoga. Are you leaving behind the beauty industry
No.
totally at that point
Mm-mm.
or ever?
So the beauty industry was definitely still a part of my life because that's how I was making my
Yeah.
money, right? So I came right out of UCLA. I got hired on a TV show. On that particular TV show, I met, she's she's like a sister now, but she was really a mentor into all of this philosophy. Like she knew so much, and that's when I learned about Abraham, and then Abraham Hicks took me to Joe Dispenza, and so it was someone in my life guiding me, and she was the one that introduced me to yoga because she had a friend that taught yoga, and I used to climb the stairs. There's a Culver City in LA has a stairs where you can climb up. So one day I was climbing up and I took the little hike trail down and I fell. It was fine. I popped right back up, and about 2 weeks later, my back. And they had been saying, "Nadyne, you need to do yoga with us." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not going to do yoga until I turn 50. Like, literally, that was just my thing. I'm like, when I'm 50, I'll start
I'll do
doing
yoga.
yoga, and I'll do it for the rest of my life. Literally, I would say
Mhm.
that in my head and out loud to them. And lo and behold, I called her up and said, "Hey, can your friend help me? Because
Yeah.
my back."
I need
And
to
I did
stretch.
yoga classes with this lady, Kaya. She was amazing. Malia is the one that introduced me to her. And yeah, it was 2011. I did yoga with her for a whole year privately.
Wow.
And it was Kundalini. So it was really meditative. It was a lot of sitting, a lot of mantras. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. It made me calm, and I understood myself a little better. And I'm like, okay, there's something here. And then I started doing like hot yoga. And then every time I'd go to different yoga studios, or if I create a relationship with the studio, they was like, when are you going to get your teacher training? I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'm just here to better me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get a teacher training. Why would I do that? Yeah, and by my like third or fourth teacher that said that to me, I'm like, maybe I should get a teacher training.
Yeah.
So Blackish came along. I was working in my head to exit this industry because I really just wanted to write. And a friend called me up to do the Blackish pilot, and I think that was around the time I started my first teacher training in yoga. So, because the first season of Blackish, I remember going on a retreat, my first yoga retreat. We went to Nicaragua. And I think I was just finishing up my first teacher training somewhere along that year.
Wow.
I can't remember the year. But yeah, so it was a journey
Mm-hmm.
because it was like from 2008 is when I graduated UCLA to like 2018. So it was like
Okay.
10 years. I
Yeah.
was still doing different things in the
Wow.
industry,
Okay.
but just understanding in my head that I wanted to get out, you know. So, yeah, it wasn't, I didn't pop right out.
Did that feeling of I want to get out come before you went back to UCLA, before you started looking into yoga? Okay, so it wasn't like you were like, oh, I'm just going to finish my degree, and then, oh, this yoga is doing really good for me. It was, I know I want something. I'm going to start here. And then it just kind of took place.
There was a yearning inside of me. I worked, when I had my son in 1998, I was on a TV show, and I remember something inside of me saying, oh, you're supposed to write. And I remember telling one of my coworkers, I'm supposed to write. And she said, well, what are you supposed to write? I'm like, I don't know. I just hear a voice saying that I'm supposed to write. So, and then there was a lot of time away from my children because by then I had two.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, well, I didn't have kids not to see them, you know? So that was, and then, you know, TV was going from single camera to multicam.
Mm-hmm.
So we were taping more like a film, and I always avoided film because
Got
of
it.
my children.
Yeah.
So now we were having long days on
You mean
set.
because of like hours it
Yes.
took? Okay.
Yes.
Will you explain the difference between single cam, multicam?
Yes.
Why does multicam take so much longer?
So the multicam actually takes less
Oh.
because you have 4 cameras set up getting all the angles.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's more of a sitcom format. And when I first got into the industry, there were so many sitcoms.
Yeah.
So a lot of our work, you didn't have to do a film.
Mm.
You know, you had a choice to do a sitcom. So a lot of my beginning work was sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did Moesha and the Parkers and
I love that show.
you
Are
know,
you
That's
kidding
So
me?
Raven, and I did the last 2
Yeah.
years of Moesha and like a whole bunch of other sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me a really cool quality of life because makeup, you only needed 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had 2 sitcoms, I'd work 4 days a week. And then they always gave you a week off. So you work 3 weeks on, 1 week off.
Mm.
And depending on what sitcoms you were working, you might like have this week off and then next week just work 2 days. It just flowed really
Mhm.
well for having a family.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and then when I started working on Scrubs, was like the beginning of single camera on TV. So you take one camera and you have to change all the angles. So it
Got
takes
it.
longer to shoot one scene.
Got it.
Yeah, so so the hours were
Yeah.
excruciating. I hadn't been on set like 18 hours 5 days a week because it would be a 5-day work week. And like I said, multicam was 2 days.
Right. Well, that makes sense if you have 4 cameras shooting it from different, and then only
Yeah.
one you've
Yeah.
got to do.
Yeah, 3 or 4 cameras.
That's
you know,
annoying.
shooting, getting all the
Yeah.
angles and they move on.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting little insider thing because I was like, wait, I thought that I was thinking the right thing, but I misunderstood.
Yeah, you
I
just
thought you
kinda
thought,
flipped it.
yeah, I
Yep.
flipped it a little bit. So, okay, you're into yoga. When does Breathe and Soar come into play?
So, I'm Blackish. Oh, what year was that? The year's just kind of,
Also, another really good show that I loved.
yeah. I did the first 3 seasons of that. And then I feel like that's when I started doing more like breath and incorporating, because I would help people on set if they were anxious or whatever. I'd say, hey, let's take a breath. You know, if you trust me, and I'll guide you through a breath. And then eventually, I can't remember how it happened, but I went over to Grownish, but just for half a season. Their third season, I just did half of the season. And I was doing a lot of breath with the youngsters there because they got it. It was just, hey, Nadyne, can you meet me in the trailer? I'm like, yeah. And then I was just so excited to do it. And I in 2018, it was like a 1-day progressive seminar with Joe Dispenza. So learned all his techniques. And then I also did his online seminar and just started learning more about this. He's amazing.
Love him.
He knows the science behind it so well. So started learning about the science of the mind and the brain and how it works and how, you know, it can be quantum or Newtonian. So we can say that the environment is what it's about, or we can say that our thoughts are changing the environment, you know, and creating it from that. And it just made so much sense. So Breathe and Soar came in right before COVID.
Wow. Perfect timing.
Yeah, I just knew that this is where I was going. Like 2020 was supposed to be my year. Like I was going to do this and that.
Wasn't it for all of us?
Yeah, and and you felt it. It felt visceral, right? It was like, oh,
we all knew something was coming. We just
I opened a salon in 2020.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I was shut down 2 days later.
I moved across the country in 2020.
Wow. So we all did feel something, right?
Uh-huh.
It wasn't false.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I did, I was on Grownish, and it was Grownish. Yara Shahidi's mother said, I was talking to her one day, and she's like, hey, you know what? This sounds like something you should share with other people. So she said, if I got a group of people together, would you show up and do breath? And I was like, yeah. And she literally put this group together in 1 week. She sent out an email, and it's so interesting. When I pulled up to the yoga studio, all these people were outside waiting. So I'm thinking that a class just ended. So
nope, they're here for your class.
They were all there for you.
So I walk up, and I'm like, oh, the class just ended. And they're like, no, we're going to have there's a breath or a yoga class here today. And I'm like, y'all are here for me? So about 50 people showed up.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And at this point, you're not even really like doing this for work. This was just like, you're really good at this. You should do it.
Yeah, people.
So it's like unofficially official.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was just people seeing that I had something, probably seeing more than what I saw in myself. That I had something. I know that I'm a nurturer, and I know that I'm a server, and I just utilized what I learned in my job. So I know that this was something that I could actually help, like, calm people down and nurture them as I'm doing my job. And also, I know part of my job is to make sure the actor is prepared when they go out, and they don't need to have all this other stuff on their mind. So if I can give them a tool to help them if they're anxious or if they have anything going on with their life where they don't feel like they want to get out of the chair and get on set, then I can give them a tool and say, hey, let's breathe through this. And we can just breathe to the point where they have calmed their nervous system down, and they realize they're not in danger, because, that's part of it. When you're in your sympathetic nervous system, you feel like you're in danger. So
we've actually had a talk about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems on the podcast before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to a chiropractor about a year ago now, I guess, and got more than I bargained for when they ran some tests and printed out a picture of my nervous system, and I was all the way in the sympathetic, all the way in the orange. And they were like, yeah, your body thinks you just finished running from a bear, and that's your normal calm. Like, I thought I was calm at the time.
There are so many people that say I'm not stressed out, and I can see the stress.
Right.
I used to sit in the makeup room. They're like, I don't have any stress. I'm like,
It's
Your shoulders are
radiating off
touching
of
your
you.
ears.
Yeah, literally dripping off of you right now.
it is. We're in such a culture that doesn't get it, because stress is great because it's literally your body saying, okay, I got something for you that's going to bring you back into balance, right? So stress is supposed to be short term. It's not supposed to be, surging all day long.
Yeah.
And then your body gets used to that. So then it gets into your autonomic nervous system in the body, and then your body just said, let me just keep surging.
It's
Let
just
me
regular.
So everything that you do is putting you in stress, and you're upset all the time. You're driving in stress. You're sitting at work in stress. You go to the grocery store, you're stressed. We have all this anxiety, and I really do believe we have to just stop and breathe. Like if we become consciously aware of how that energy is moving through our body, we'll feel it. You felt it. You feel it once you are guided, or once you stop and take those breaths. You can feel your nervous system calming down. I tell people, when you after you do a session and you're feeling like all of that, that's where you're not stressed. That's supposed to be your gauge.
That's supposed to be your normal.
Yes.
Your resting point.
Ugh.
So now that we know what you do, I am so excited for this. So we have a treat for you guys.
Yes.
And Nadyne is going to guide Ericka and I through one of her breathwork sessions. So you guys will get kind of a taste. You do it along with us by all means, please. And then there'll be resources for you guys at the end of the episode, how you can find Nadyne and have one-on-one, or even have her come and do a group session, which I think is amazing. Yes. But we're going to take a little quick break. I have an idea for some resetting.
Okay.
And then I also have to potty. And then we'll get going on the breath.
Perfect.
So, people at home, I'd like you to get into a comfortable position, seated somewhere. And I want to start with you closing your eyes and going within. I like to take you inside first as you're beginning your practice, just so that you can connect with the energy that's going on inside. And we're going to start with you just following your natural rhythm of your breath. So don't do anything. I just want you to follow your breath and see if you're pulling from your low belly, which is where your diaphragm is, or if it's coming from your chest, a little more shallow. And then just see if you can work with the energy and connect with the rise and fall of your chest. See if you can feel your ribs inflate on your inhale. See if you can connect with them narrowing on your exhale. Relax your shoulders. Just connecting with you, with your energy, with how you breathe, with how you move, your internal energy. Just see if you can soften from the top of your head. Surrender your body to ease and to peace. Surrender your body to your breath. Work to keep your lips sealed. We're going to be breathing in and out of our nose, which helps with better oxygen absorption. And the object is to create a balance between the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Nice. Just a few more. Inhaling and exhaling. And observe your thoughts. Let them pop up and then let them float away like clouds. Don't pay them any attention. Really keep your attention on your breath and the rhythm of your breath. Nice. Just go into relaxation. Now let's take a deep breath in. Pull it in from the bottom and rise all the way up through your chest, to your throat. Come all the way up to the top of your head. And then slowly release through the nose, allowing the energy to settle and soften and surrender to the ease. Good. And take another deep breath in. Pull it in and up. So coming from your diaphragm to your chest to your throat. Now see if you can imagine it going to the top of your head. And hold there. Nice. Slowly release. Let it go all the way down and out. Soften and surrender to ease and to comfort. Good. Take a deep breath in. Rise up. And slowly let it out. Release it all the way down and out. A few more of those. Deeply in. Good. Bring it all the way up. Slowly release it out. Nice. Find your rhythm. Good. Deeply in. Slowly out. Soften and surrender. Good. Deeply in. Good movement. Release it out. Nice. Let's do 2 more of those at your pace. Breathing in. Releasing out. Nice. 1 more. Breathe in. Slowly let go. Now allow your body to self-regulate. Come back to your natural rhythm. And as it's doing that, connect with your heartbeat. Yep. See how your heart is racing to get back to its natural rhythm. Connect with all the sensations, any electricity, any movement, any sensations happening. Just connect and feel. Good. Surrender to ease. Surrender to relaxation. Let it go. Soften your shoulder blades. Yep, allow your shoulders to loosen. Good. Coming back to your natural rhythm. Excellent. We're going to do a box breath. So I'm going to count to the rhythm of a 5 count in through your nose. Then you're going to hold at the top for 5. And then you're going to exhale through your nose for 5. And then you're going to hold empty at the bottom for 5. So here we go. Let's take a deep breath in for 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. Good. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Pull it in for 2, 3, 4. Good. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Pull it in all the way up. Bring it to the top of your head and hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Pull it in all the way up. See it rise. Feel it rise. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Pull it in. Bring it all the way up to the top. Good, guys. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Last one. And in. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. And release. Let go. Allow your body to come back to your natural rhythm, your natural breath. Soften from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Allow your body to go. Relax. Rejuvenate. Release. Soften. Surrender to ease. Know that it's okay to relax. It's okay to stop. It's okay to go within. Know that this actually helps your immune system. It's all about balance. Good. Connect with your heartbeat. Please open up your heart space. See it soften. Surrender. Connect your mind to your heart so that you begin to react from a heart space instead of a logical space. Good. Nice. Let it go. Feel the energy rising from the top of your head, coming all the way down like a light coming down the midsection of your body. And then the light goes to the left and the right, just turning on all the cells. 30 trillion cells just being turned on. And in that light, there's nothing but ease and surrender. Nice. Connect with your rhythm. Connect with your breath. Now let's take a deep breath in. Pull it in. Bring it all the way up. When you get to the top, I want you to hold. Slowly release. Soften, surrender, and feel. Nice. Good. This is where you create from, the energy of creation, allowing your inside world to become more real than the outside. We're going to do one more breath. It's called a 4-7-8 breath. It's going to start with a forceful exhale out of your mouth. Then it's going to be a short hold on your inhale for 4, a longer hold, a short inhale for 4, a longer hold for 7, a forceful exhale out of the mouth for 8. So here we go. And let's start with an exhale out of the mouth. Good. And here we go. Inhale for 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in. 2, 3, 4. Good. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And feel and enjoy this breath. It's a very euphoric breath. Allow your body to connect with any sensations, any lightness, any floating happening in your body. Just connect, observe, and feel it. Soften and surrender to ease and to delight. Feel your heartbeat. Soften your heart. Open up your heart space. Allowing your body to come back to its natural rhythm, its natural breath as you observe the energy. Yeah, you might have some movement because you're opening up spaces that were blocked or had energy stored there. and taking your time to feel and to just connect with yourself. And just remembering that all we have is the breath. That's it. Without it, we can't make money, we can't hustle, we can't go to work. So let's create this beautiful relationship with our breath by not ignoring it, by paying it attention, by guiding it, by allowing it to settle our nervous system. Because it's such a beautiful force. And yes, it's going to do it on its own. But when it's guided, when we can slow it down, it creates this beautiful energy on the inside where we respond differently. We react differently because we're balanced internally. And so taking your time to come back into the space, there is no rush. Feel what you feel. And when you're ready to open up your eyes, you can come back into this space. But only when you're ready. Connect with any sensations happening. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.